What is Python?
The world's fastest growing programming language for software engineers, data analytics, accountants, mathematicians, scientists, network engineers, people from different disciplines use Python.
What can you do with it? Variety of different tasks such as software development, artificial intelligence, mobile apps development, desktop app development, software testing, data science, game development, machine learning, hacking.
Why is it so popular? Solve complex problems in less time with fewer lines of code. Example, let's say we want to extract the first three letters. Now start downloading Python. Download latest version of Python from python.org. Double click on Python setup file for installation. Next, we need to install a code editor and execute it. The most popular code editor for Python is PyCharm. You can get it from jetbrains.com. Install PyCharm. You should see two different editions. One is the professional editions, which is commercial, and we also have community edition, which is free and open source. We are going to download the community edition. First, Python program. Create new project and specify the location. Enter file name as hello world. Click on create. Here our hello world project. We have only one folder inside this project, that is venv, which is virtual environments. Let's right click on the project name and new Python file. We are going to call this file as app. Write our first Python code. We are going to write print all in lowercase, then add parentheses. Then we add quotes, either single quotes or double quotes, and inside this code we are going to write hello world. So this is what we call a string. A string means a string or sequence of character. In simple words, that means textual data in Python and in many other programming languages. Whenever we are dealing with textual data, we should always surround our text with quotes in Python. We can use single or double quotes. Now this print you see here is a function built into Python, and we can use it to print a message on our application window. So let me show you how to run this code on the top. We go to the run. Now select current file. You can see this little window. This is what we call the terminal window, and it shows the output of our program. So here is the hello world message printed in the terminal window. Variables. Variables to temporarily store data in a computer memory. We are storing the number 30 somewhere in our computer memory and attaching this age as a label for that memory location. So now we can read the value at this memory location. Age 30 printing on the window terminal. Receiving input. I am going to show you how to receive input from user. We have another built-in function called input. We use this to read a value from the terminal window. Let me show you. Type a message like what is your name. We get this message. Now we have to enter a value, so we click over here. Now we have to type a value. Let's say Surya. When we press enter, this function will return the value that we entered in the terminal window. Let's declare a variable called name and set it to the return value of the input function. Now we can print a greeting message for this user. We use the print function. We say hello. We add a space. Now after the string we want to add the value of the name variable. Now let's run our program and see what happens. Now we get this message, hello Surya. This is how we can use the input function in Python.
Type conversion. You will learn about three types of data in Python. We have numbers, strings and booleans. Now you want to convert the value of a variable from one type to another. Let me show you. We are going to use our input function to read the user's birth year. Enter your birth year. Let's write code to calculate the age of this user. We write expression like this. Currently we are in the year 2023. 2023 minus birth year. This expression or code is going to produce a value. We can store that value in a variable. Let's call that variable age. Now let's print age on the terminal. Let's run our program and see what happens. My birth year is 1985. Now enter. Our program error. 2023 is an example of an integer. Now birth year is an example of a string, because whenever we call the input function, this function would return a value as a string even if we enter a number. In other words, when I enter, the reason we got this error is that we try to subtract a string from an integer. Our code looks like this, 1985. Now Python does not know how to subtract a string from an integer. Solve this problem, we need to convert this string to an integer. Now in Python we have a bunch of built-in functions for converting the types of our variables. We have this int function. We can pass our birth year to it, and this will return the new numeric representation of the birth year. So solve this problem, we need to replace the string with the int function. Now let's run program. 1985, 38 years old. This is how the integer function works. Float, integer and boolean. We also have another built-in function called float, that is for converting a value to a floating point number. A floating point number in Python and other programming languages is number with a decimal point. 10.1 is a float. 10 is an integer. We have int, we have float, and we have bool for converting a value to a boolean, and finally we have stir for converting a value to a string. These are the built-in functions for converting the type of our variables. Let's see examples of these: float, integer and boolean. We are going to call our input function to read the first number. We get the result and store it in a variable called first. Now let's declare and other variable called second and read the second number. Now we calculate the sum, that is first plus second. Now let's see what happens when we print sum on the terminal. I entered
10 and 20, but instead of 30 we get 1020. This is because we are combining. We need to convert the values we read to their numeric representation. Here we are going to pass first to integer function. Now let's run our program. We enter 10 and 20, we get 30. What if we enter a floating point numbers 10.1 and 20? We got an error. To solve this problem, we need to treat both these values as floats. Instead of the int function, we are going to use the float function. Now let's run our program. We enter a whole number and a floating point number. So the result is 30.1. Result is correct. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe my channel.